Hey everybody, how are you doing? So it is Tuesday night, and as always, I join you live where you have the opportunity to ask any question that you may have, whether you're in need of guidance in your marriage, your career, parenting, or self-development. You have the opportunity to just sit, relax, and enjoy the show and ask whatever you need to. So we're going to give everybody just a few minutes to hop on tonight. And as always, I ask you to share it out. Hey, Paula, Deanna, and Brian, it is great to see you guys tonight. And Robert, welcome. Gary, it is great to see you, buddy. How you doing? How are you? I haven't talked to you for a while, and I am so glad you're here tonight. We're going to give everybody just a few minutes to hop on. And then we will get started with tonight's show. Hey, Tim and Raina and Jonathan, it is great to see you as well. We have had tremendous amount of rain over the last hour. It has been coming down like buckets. It's been crazy. So, it's nice just to have a relaxed evening where it's calm now, the calm after the storm. You know how that is, right? The calm after the storm, where it's, just very quiet outside after the thunder and the lightning, and you can just relax. And tonight you're relaxing with me, and I could not appreciate your time even more. I am grateful to have you here. And Ian, welcome. I see that you have liked the post. I appreciate that. Please do share it out. And Christine, welcome. Lisa, it is great to see you tonight also. Like I said, we're going to get started shortly. I have just been, had a crazy day today. It's been a little bit busy. I've had multiple meetings, all great stuff. But, just one of those really busy days where you feel like, will I get to catch a breath? And I definitely was able to do that tonight at dinner. As a family, how often do you get to have dinner together? How often do you sit down at the table with all of the children present and your partner? For us, it's very rare. If it's once a week, we're really lucky. Between 3 teenagers and different custody schedules, we don't often have the opportunity to have all of the children in one place. And it just so happened tonight that we did. We had all 3 children tonight at dinner, and it was just wonderful just to sit as a family and talk about life and talk about what we're doing and where we're going. Hey, Karen, Sue, and Angela, it is great to see you tonight. Thank you for joining. And it was great just to laugh with the kids. That's one thing that is guaranteed in our house is when we eat together or we're together, there is so much laughter. The kids tend to be a little silly, a little bit more wound up and willing to just share. So that's exactly what happened tonight. We had a nice meal together. We were able to relax, and it may be a while until we eat dinner together again, but that was my opportunity to just take a deep breath after a really busy day, just to take the opportunity to connect with our loved ones. So connecting with our loved ones is really important as we begin to feed our souls, right? We want to rejuvenate and connect, but also give back to our children. Hey, Richard, Jennifer, and Carolyn, it's great to see you. So let's start our questions for this evening. It has been about 4 minutes in, and we'll watch as everybody jumps on, and I'll have the opportunity to say hello. But let's check it out. And remember, each and every person in this space is your tribe. They are dear friends, brothers and sisters who love and care for you and are here for you regardless of what you may go through in life. So Deanne, thank you for sharing. Deanne shares, I did get diagnosed with breast cancer. We've been praying for you, Deanne. I am so sorry to hear that. I had the surgery and currently going through chemo. Okay. You are a warrior, my friend. I took your advice and have let people who offer to help do that. I am so proud of you. Deanne, that's beautiful. It has been amazing how many people have helped. Thank you for your advice. You're most welcome, Dan. And I am so glad that your tribe has just rallied around you during this time in your life where it may feel as if you don't have control, or it may feel as if you are alone. It's wonderful to know, Dan, that your tribe was right there next to you. And that feeling of asking others for help can really be challenging. I totally get it. And I am proud of you, Dan, for doing that, for reaching out. And I know without a doubt that you are going to kick butt and you will be in remission before you know it. I am very, very proud of you. I'm proud of your strength and I'm proud of who you are. Thank you. Thank you for being willing to be open-minded and growing at such a difficult time in your life. Thank you for sharing too. I know it's hard sometimes to be vulnerable. Hey, Sherry and Jean, Darren, it is great to see you guys tonight. As always, it is Tuesday night, Ask the Therapist Live, where you have the opportunity for guidance, inspiration, motivation in some area of your life where you may be struggling. Or perhaps you just want to share a struggle that you've experienced and you're looking for that support. This is your tribe. This is your village. Each and every person here absolutely adores and loves you and will be here for you no matter what. So whatever brings you here tonight, I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Our nights are full, they're busy, but yet you take time out of your schedule to sit in our space, to share and just connect with each other. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Hey, Cheryl and Susie, it's great to see you. And Kevin, hello, Kevin, how are you? It's great to see you. As always, I ask that you share this out, right? I want you to share it out for your friends and family so they know that they have a place of support. They know that there is a place where they can come for advice, inspiration, motivation, or just to feel as if they have someone in their corner. What's beautiful about this time together is it truly is your opportunity to be a guest, to be my guest live and really get the direction you may be looking for. I don't sell products on here. I don't push an agenda. This really is about serving each and every one of you and being able to connect with you. Hey, Diane and Stephen, it's great to see both of you tonight. Thank you for joining. As always, if you have a question, please type it in the comment section and I will read it aloud and share and answer that question. Or if you prefer to do it privately, you can direct message me in any social media platform. You can send an email to me, Christy@ChristyKnights.com. Or if you have my cell number, you're welcome to text me. Last week, the week before, people direct messaged questions on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever works for you. I absolutely will keep you anonymous if that is your preference. So tell me, how was your week? How was your week? How did you serve others this week? How did you give back? When you gave back, how did it feel? What did it do for your mood? We know through evidence that giving back and serving others in our family, in our community, globally, increases our level of self-confidence, peace, joy, and happiness in our life every day. Each week, I challenge you to give back in some way. Hey, Maria, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining. Each week, I encourage you to give back to your community in some way. So how did you give back this week? Please don't hesitate to share with me, share with our community some inspiration and how you gave back and how it felt to give back. I know sometimes it can be hard just to share and to tell others what we did, but this is your opportunity to really brag a little. You know, maybe bragging has a negative connotation, but see, in this space, it's safe. It's a way for you to inspire, to give back, and to inspire others around you to give back. Yes, Paula, serving others, it is such a blessing, not only for you when you give, but for that other person. Many times, Paula, my dear friend, will say to me, I'd like to bless you. Will you allow me to bless you? And I'll say to her, no, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to, pay for dinner, or you don't have to pick up the tab for coffee, right? And she'll say, why are you robbing me of blessing you? And it always puts me in my place. I'm like, whoa, you're right. I don't want to take that blessing away from you. I'm very grateful that you want to share and bless me. So sometimes it can be hard to accept someone's blessing, but remember, they're growing by giving back to you as well. Think of the people who have given to you in your life. What have they given to you? Wisdom, experience, monetary value, or lending you money, perhaps meeting another need of yours, meeting you somewhere when you just needed a friend or support. People give back in various ways. Pay attention to how the world, how your friends give back to you so that you can accept their blessing. Let's check out a question. So this is an anonymous question that I received. Hey, Marcy, it's great to see you, beautiful. So this question is anonymous, and it says, I should be happy as I just graduated college. I am far from that. I'm not sure how much longer I can take living with this constant depression. I'm about to give up, not sure what to do. Hey, Dr. Frank, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining. So this person is sharing that although she's a college graduate, a recent graduate, she still finds herself constantly depressed. What can she do about it? So recent college graduate, that is a wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. And I am so proud of you for graduating college. I happen to know that you are an adult student, and it takes everything in us oftentimes to go back to school. And you did it, and you did it with such great success. And I am so proud of you, my dear friend. But that depression continues to really loom over your life. And that's what you're asking about. And I am so sorry. I'm sorry that that depression is still gripping you despite your accomplishments. Hey, Vincent and Deborah, it's great to see you, Deb. I look forward to seeing you, Deb, tomorrow night, too. Anyways, Deb's a dear friend and a colleague. So there's that depression that's still looming. What we do know about depression is that regardless of our circumstances, sometimes it still lingers. So what can we do whenever we find depression still hanging out despite our accomplishments? First and foremost, you did the right thing by validating your pain, by saying, hey, look, I'm struggling with depression. What do I do now? When we move it away from the place of denial and we move it to the forefront of our mind, we begin to experience that validation that, yes, there is depression. What's next? Oftentimes, I'll suggest constant activity where you don't have much downtime. Going to school on a regular basis, particularly college as an adult, it keeps our minds, it keeps our brains working really hard. But when we graduate, there is a grieving process that happens. We were used to being in the classroom, connected with our friends, doing homework, receiving those grades, earning the grades, working hard. It took up a large chunk of your time. And now that that time is not being taken up in the classroom or with those relationships, sometimes we can go through a grieving process. So I know that Deb, as a professor as well, she can attest to this, that when her students move on, not only do they feel some level of a loss, but she feels some level of a loss too in those relationships. So my dear friend, I have no doubt that your friends and your professors are feeling that same loss that you may be experiencing as well. Hey, Bill and Felicia, Victoria, it is great to see you. And Nancy, thank you so much for joining tonight. We are talking about depression and how it lingers. Even though we've had great strides, great accomplishments, what do we do? So if it's still there, what I'd like you to do is make your plan to continue to be active in your community. You are now looking for a job in your area of profession. This will help you stay busy and feel a sense of accomplishment as you grow. Yes, searching for a job can be incredibly stressful. It can be difficult to find a job, and so that may cause some added depression. But what I want to share with you is that stay motivated, stay inspired, that you are completely cradled by God, because I know you're a believer, and that He has that path laid out for you. But staying active is important. Staying committed to your medication, staying committed to therapy, those are all very important as you go through this life transition. But we know oftentimes life transitions can really activate that depression in our minds and can begin to shift. So stay on top of self-care. That's going to be really important. We know that no matter how many accomplishments we may have, that doesn't cure or take away depression sometimes. It may be temporary, but it doesn't last. So yes, Felicia, stay engaged with others. Live in that community. Stay submerged. Do not hide within your home, right? I want you to get out. So those few tips will get you started, and I want you to share with me how you're doing. You know you can direct message me. Let me know if you're staying committed to your treatment plan, your medication, searching for that job, staying connected and engaged with others. That will help your depressed mood. Hey, Kim, you came into the room. Welcome. It's great to see you. And Shannon, it's great to see you as well. Let's see. So, Sue, hey, Christy, can we give a shout out to our EMS tonight for National EMS Week? Also, let them know about the Facebook group Project Hope, EMS, and Code Green campaign. EMS strong, stronger together. Thanks. Absolutely, Sue. There isn't a time where we don't want to shout out to our EMS, our first responders. They are incredible people. And when I get on my soapbox, I start by saying they are way underpaid. And I get so frustrated that people who save lives are completely underpaid. I know it's not about money, but I'm telling you, these people are incredible people and they go through so much. And this is EMS, National EMS Week. So we want to honor those who are first responders, emergency responders. If you have anyone in your family that is an emergency responder, don't hesitate to put their name in the comment section and we will shout out and thank them for their service in our community. What we do know about first responders is that often and may experience high levels of stress and residual PTSD, post-traumatic stress or trauma, as a result of their work. They sacrifice their lives on a daily basis, not only in the danger of their job, but in the mental well-being and what it takes to be present in that job. So there are 2 organizations on Facebook. They are Facebook support groups that Sue mentioned that are powerful groups. So I want you to share with your family, your friends, these 2 groups where they will have support. One is Project Hope EMS and Code Green campaign. These are 2 Facebook support groups that just absolutely wrap love and kindness around EMS. And thank you to the EMS and our first responders for their sacrifice and all they do. As always, tonight is Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I connect with you at Ask the Therapist, where you have an opportunity to ask your questions, no matter what they are, whether it's about life guidance, marriage, partnership, divorce, sex, relationships, children, parenting, education, career, whatever it may be. I am here and present for you. I serve you every Tuesday night. And like I always ask, please share this out. Click that share button and share with your friends so they know they have a safe place where they can come for inspiration, motivation, and guidance to some of life's biggest questions. I do not promote products. I do not try to sell you anything while you're here. That's not my goal. It is purely to be present for you and in your life. This is absolutely the favorite time of my week. Let's see who else has joined us. Catherine, it is great to see you, chick. You and I need to connect. I want you on my podcast. I need to reach out to you. So, hey, Paula. Hey, Denise. So, Paula, anybody else just freezing? Yeah, I don't know what is up with this internet connection the last couple of weeks. We had issues. I did call the internet company, and they said that everything looks good on their end. But I can tell you many people in my area are struggling with a lagging Wi-Fi. I wish there was another way we could do this so that wasn't an issue. So, hey, Tammy, it's great to see you. How have you been? How about that grandbaby? Oh, Ronan is adorable, isn't he? I was just talking with Christy. Ronan is a baby of one of my dearest friends, Christy. She just had her baby a month ago, and his name is Ronan. Tammy is grandma, and it has been just a joy watching her as a mom who is 36 years old just love this baby up. It has been fun just to watch. Mine are teenagers, so I haven't held a baby in a long time, and I love being with Ronan. He is a blessing. Hey, Shannon, give me your best bit of advice to juggling many heavy loads. How does one stay stable and practice self-care? Whew, great question. How many times do we see this? How many times do we see in our lives the ability to juggle everything that's going on? Single mom or marriage, our career, our children, our life goals, our community, our faith. How do we manage all of it and practice self-care? This is a great question. So I love talking about self-care, and I love to talk about work-life balance. So we start with self-care. Self-care is essential to be able to manage our daily lives and how we connect each day. Hey, Lisa, it is great to see you, girlfriend. So self-care can look like a variety of things. So if you would like, please list your favorite way to take care of yourself. Go ahead and put it in the comment section. Let's see if we can get a list going for Shannon. What are some of the ways you take care of yourself on a daily or weekly basis that you find highly effective? Let's see what we come up with. As the list is being generated, Shannon, the second piece is being able to provide structure or a plan to your daily life. When we feel overwhelmed, oftentimes it's because we don't have that plan. Or we started with a plan on a Sunday night for our week and we've strayed from our plan, whether that's because something came up unexpectedly or we were just too lazy to follow the plan, feeling completely overwhelmed. Oftentimes those reasons that we lose our plan or get away from our plan. So, hey, Justin, it's great to see you. So what I challenge you to do, Shannon, is absolutely every single time, every week, I want you to pick a day where you sit down and develop your plan. That can look like multiple things. It can look like digital on an iPad or on your phone. It can look like paper and pen, right? This is what I like to use. I love the Passion Planner. I will absolutely confess that I don't use it all the time. Sometimes my Sundays get away from me and I don't write my weekend. And although I have a digital calendar for work, I like to use this calendar as well to just write down. Let me show you what it looks like. So just write down and use stickers. You see that? Now, I don't want to hold it up too close because I do have some names in there, and my HIPAA doesn't want me to do that, right? So you see, like, I have all kinds of things written down in it, and I use stickers, and I color it. I make it interesting and pretty to look at. And I do this for a variety of reasons, right? I do this so I want to visit my planner. So I want to really, write everything down. I write everything down from my clients as well as everything that I need to get done in my business. Each business is coded a different color. Many of you know that I have multiple businesses. So for me, Shannon, it's really important that I color code each business so I can just glance at my planner and know what I need to do. As Marie Forleo, for those of you who don't know Marie Forleo, she is awesome. She is a professional speaker and just a guru in marketing, advertising, creating businesses online. But what she says is, Marie Forleo says, if it's not on your schedule, it does not exist. If it's not on your schedule, it does not exist. I have really taken it to heart. So if I don't put it on my calendar, I truly miss it. So I include developing content for my website, writing blogs. I include shopping for groceries, meal planning, kids' activities. I include my daily devotion and prayer time. For me, I know self-care, part of it is prayer time. So I put that on my calendar. Not because I may forget, but as also a reminder that it's important. It's a priority. I include also when I need to pay my bills or when I'm uploading my podcast to iTunes, and I put edit videos, right? So I'm putting absolutely everything on my paper calendar that I will need to do, and I give it a set time. If it's not on the schedule, it doesn't exist. And I color code, yes, and I love color coding. It's fun, and so it makes it much more appealing to do. So that's how I juggle my life whenever there's many heavy things to do. One is creating that plan. Two is the self-care. So nobody has listed ways they care for themselves. Come on, guys, type it in. Some of the ways you can care for yourself, Shannon, I'll get it started, is through prayer and meditation, or self-development in the morning, taking showers, long baths, exercise, eating healthy, just using a mantra, memorizing a Bible verse or your favorite quote, calling a friend. All of these can be ways that you care for yourself. Getting your nails done, playing a game of basketball with your friends, whatever it may be. On a daily basis, I ask that you commit to 10 minutes minimum a day to take care of yourself, right? That's all I ask, 10 minutes a day. You start with 10 minutes a day, and it will become intoxicating to love and care for yourself. We know, Shannon, that when we can't or we don't take that time to care for ourselves, we can't care for others. We become emotional, overwhelmed, exhausted, and we lose the ability to have clarity in our own decision making. So it's essential. So yes, walking around out in nature, that's a big one for me too. I love sitting on the porch on a swing. Swinging for me is very relaxing, right? We're in the winter sitting by a fire. Hey, Sean, it's great to see you. Denny and Brian, it's great to see both of you tonight too. Thank you so much. And Gina, it's great to see you. Yeah, the Sunday idea works really well. And a planner is a lifesaver. And a planner is your key to success, to manage those heavy burdens. The other thing I'd like you to do is stay connected with friends and family. Do not isolate yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed or feel like you've got too much going on. Always find a way to connect, even if it's online. And that next is also to delegate. If you need to delegate and you need support and help, ask for help, right? As a mom or a dad juggling, caretaking, you need help. It's okay to need help. It takes a village. There is no shame in that. Where the shame lies is when you think you can do it all by yourself and then you crash and burn and things are a mess and chaotic. Instead, just admit that we all need help. Allow others to help you. Ask for help, as Deanne has suggested, and get that support that you need. So Shannon, I hope that's a start for you and helps you this week. And let me know how that goes. Let me know how you plan. If you buy a planner, you start to color code, let me know. I will tell you the best sites to buy your pens and your stickers and fun stuff like that. And then I want to see a screenshot of that planner. I'll help you be accountable. So Felicia, I run a mentoring program for 8 years in the schools. Saw one of our 4th graders at our success party. Very concerned about him. Seems withdrawn and sad. Had a hard time interacting with our happiness. He has had many early separation traumas, resulting in him being with his grandma. So both parents are not with him. Mom overdosed 2 months ago, and I can't imagine how he feels. Just sent an email to the guidance counselor to follow up with me. Do you have suggestions? Thank you so much for sharing, Felicia. So you run a mentoring program. Thank you so much for your work and your sacrifice. Working with children is incredibly challenging, and a mentoring program is essential to their lives. So Felicia, thank you. Thank you for your work and your commitment to our children. That is a unique gift. And I'm sorry to hear about this little boy who's struggling. So he's had multiple traumas. Separation issues, living with grandma, mom overdosed, and you're concerned he seems to be more withdrawn. You sent an email to the guidance counselor to follow up with you. I think, that first step is wonderful. Getting that help and support, wrapping services around him initially, seeing what you're allowed to do legally. Obviously you know more about that than I do, not familiar with the mentoring program, but asking what's going on in school, really useful. What other services can the child be connected with in the community? Oftentimes school districts, as you know, have friendship groups. So is there friendship groups that this child can be a part of? Is the child plugged into play therapy, grief therapy? You said mom overdosed. Felicia, did mom die as a result of the overdose? Is she still alive? If she passed away, there are many grieving groups for children that would be really useful if that's the case, as well as peer groups within schools. The Big Brother, Big Sister program is still alive and well. This might be a nice adjunct program to what you're doing, possibly. I would love to collaborate with you and help you and give you more suggestions. If you would like, don't hesitate to direct message me, and then I can help brainstorm with you. But yes, you reached out to guidance. That's great. What other services is this child eligible for in our community or your community? There are typically many communities who will work with children, whether it's Highmark the Caring Place or other grief and loss groups, friendship groups within the school. How is the child involved in extracurricular activities to develop his own identity? Busy mind, busy hands is really important right now as he struggles. Keeping your pulse on him, making sure that services are put into place and that he doesn't further isolate. Perhaps connecting him with a buddy within your mentoring group. Is there a buddy that can just spend time with him in school and also connect to make sure that he has that support? Getting grandma involved if you're able to do that with your mentoring program. See what her thoughts are to help ground her and provide her with a support in the community and help her get plugged in. I'm sure she's very overwhelmed too. So I hope that's a good start for you, Felicia. I really appreciate your question. And again, thank you so much for your work. You are appreciated, girlfriend. All right. Thank you, Paula, for some self-care. I appreciate that. Yes, reading your Bible, adult coloring books, I always forget. Taking baths, absolutely. A good night's sleep is essential, Jean. Thank you so much for pointing that out. We know sleep is absolutely essential to our mental well-being. So you're right, that's a great one. Hey, Jana, it is great to see you, my friend. Ruby Dawn, it's great to see you as well. Okay, Felicia, thank you. As I'm scrolling down, that really helps. Thank you. So I'm sorry to hear that mom passed away. There are many, many groups in communities for grieving children. So that may be a great way to get them plugged in. I'm not sure what community you are in or where you're from, but I know in our Pittsburgh area, we have the Caring Place, which is through one of our insurance providers, Highmark. And the Caring Place is wonderful for wrapping services around children. And they have a grief group that children go through, and they create a quilt square that's part of the group to honor the parent that passed away. Many ways to help grieving children, or local church, right? You know, Felicia, maybe the child has a church that they're involved in. So I hope that gave you just a few pointers. And yes, an excellent mentor, you know, I think that's huge. That's a great program. I'm not familiar with that program. I'm hoping that our schools have that too. I think that's really, really useful. So thank you for sharing, Felicia. And again, thank you for the work that you do. If you have a question, it is Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you have the opportunity to ask a therapist live, whatever question you may have, whether it is in life or career, relationships, maybe it's in your marriage, going through a divorce, or perhaps parenting your children. Whatever you may need to ask, I am here. Anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, whatever it is, please don't hesitate to ask. You're in Volusia County, Florida. Okay. Yeah, a little further from me, right? I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But if you feel like you're not able to connect with enough resources in that community, just let me know, and I will I'll make some connections, and we will work together for this little boy. I'm sure he's a beautiful, spirited boy, and just a tough life. Just a tough life. So thank you very much for sharing. All right, let me check and see. I think I have some questions coming through. Let's see. I'm not seeing any on text messages. I saw a lot coming through, so I thought maybe my text messages, right? Let me see, any emails? I'm not seeing any emails. Let's check Facebook. Again, if you have a question, put it in the comment section, and please click that share button. Let your family and friends know that we are here, that they are not alone. Every week we have about 200 to 300 viewers each and every week that come out and sit in this space. I am so appreciative of each and every one of you for you sacrificing your time to share your evening with me. So nothing on Facebook. Anything on Instagram? Anything on Instagram? You guys are all doing well. It's great to hear. Okay. And nothing on LinkedIn. All right. So there are no questions at this moment. So let's just chat a little bit. You know, what I have noticed, this week with my practice, as the sun has begun to shine, people are starting to feel a little bit better. So are you familiar with seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder? Oftentimes people will experience a lower mood whenever it's rainy out, the winter. Now, perhaps, Felicia, you don't see as much of an issue with that in sunny Florida, which is wonderful. But here in Pennsylvania, we have a fair amount of gloomy days. Hey, Margie, it's great to see you. We have a fair amount of gloomy days here in Pennsylvania. In fact, our winter was so long, my numbers jumped up this year. there was not enough time in a day to see the people who were struggling with depression. So if you struggle with seasonal depression, and now we're starting to see the sun come out, you may start to feel a little bit better. Why does this happen? Why do we struggle with seasonal depression, but then the rest of the year we feel pretty good? Part of that is there is just inactivity, a lack of activity during the winter. We're not as active outside, most of us, as we are in the summer. The other is our inability to truly watch what we eat. We don't do as well in the winter. You know, in the winter, we have multiple holidays and we eat poorly, as oftentimes, you know, you're packing on those pounds in the winter. We're eating lots of comfort foods. Well, those comfort foods are full of fat and carbs and sugars, and they really make us feel lousy. In the summer, we tend to get really excited about that sunshine. We eat more fruits and vegetables. We're hiking or walking or really getting out there, right? So that's another reason we may experience the seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. The lack of sunlight is another way that we may experience that. Sunlight emits vitamin D, and vitamin D is a direct correlation to our moods. So it's really important that we're getting that vitamin D. During the winter, I want you to kick up your vitamin D so that you feel good. How can we get light or more sun in the winter? You can hop into a tanning bed just once a week. I'm not a proponent of doing it excessively. There is the big box lights that they sell on Amazon, or the red lights that oftentimes you find at a gym. Now, in a gym, the red light is not only for mood, but it's also for weight loss. Really cool. So I have plenty of cards. If you're in my area and you want to experience the red light for free, our dear friend Maria has given me free passes so you can experience it. So if there's a rainy day and you're feeling down and out, all you need to do is send me a message and stop by my office, and you can pick up a free pass for that red light to be able to just get that pickup. And they also have incredible massage chairs. You'll want to use those too. Throughout the winter, we tend to drink more alcohol because of the holidays, because we feel like crap. And what we know is alcohol is a downer, right? It takes our sugar levels, spikes it, and then we crash down. It is a depressant. So that's another reason we may experience. So there are multiple reasons. So now, as the weather's getting nice, what are you doing to feel good? How are you getting out and taking care of yourself? For me, that looks like hiking and walking, using that red light at the gym, getting to the gym. For some reason, I'm not one of those people who want to go to the gym in the winter. It's cold. I don't like to be out. So I tend to kick up my gym time actually in the summer. So looking at that, and if you find that you're more isolated and disconnected in the winter because you're not getting out, I want you to kick up your engagement with others. That's also very important. If those things aren't working, then I definitely want you to see a professional, talk with someone, and there may be a possibility you need some medication just for a few months to get you through. Oh, I've got a question. All right. Okay. This is a parenting question. I love these parenting questions. My teenager struggles to fit in at school. What can I do to help them make friends? Great question. My teenager struggles to fit in at school. What can I do to help them make friends? How many of us parents watch our kids struggle from time to time socially, and it just breaks our hearts to see them struggle. You and I know that they're incredible human beings with beautiful souls, but yet they struggle to make friends and to connect with others. I have seen my kids go through that sometimes, and it's really hard. It's challenging. What can you do? I want you to help them connect. I want you to help them identify their strengths. Once they identify their strengths, their interests, their passion, help them participate in different activities after school. Extracurricular activities are the number one way that your child will bond and build relationships within the school. It's a time whenever they are not within the classroom, less competitive, less insecure, when they're just relaxing most often and having a good time. They're working towards a common goal. Be sure your child is involved in 1 or 2 extracurricular activities or clubs to connect to others. The other is encouraging your child to invite a friend over. Invite a friend over onto their turf where they feel safe. Whether it's for a bonfire, teenagers love bonfires, or perhaps it's just to hang out or watch a movie or take them to a movie. Whatever that looks like, encourage them social interaction at least twice a month. Now, if you have a teenager that is very social, you'll notice that the average teenager without struggles tends to go out 3 to 4 times a month. However, with the goal of twice a month, you're helping them stay connected. I want you also to validate them, be able to see that they are struggling, and be honest, support them by saying to them, I get it. This is a tough time. Kids are tough, but you are not alone. God has created you beautifully, and we want others to see that. But don't stress about where you're at right now because it's short term and we can get you through this. Make sure you validate it. So many parents come into my office and they don't want to take their children's or their teenagers' struggles seriously. They want to chalk it up to just the age or say it's no big deal, they're overreacting. But the truth is, what your child experiences is very real to them. It doesn't matter if you agree or think it's real, because how they experience it, what their perception is, determines how they move through life and manage life. Our job, of course, is to teach them how to regulate emotionally, how to put life into perspective, but we will not do that by shaming them, invalidating them, telling them their problems are silly or ridiculous. How we do that is by validating them, reminding them that you too struggled with something similar when you were younger, and helping them develop a plan of success so they don't feel hopeless. One of the number one reasons teenagers have suicidal thoughts or attempt suicide or die by suicide is due to feeling alone, hopeless, helpless, as if they don't matter. They don't feel valued. So as parents, we can break down those barriers and be an advocate for them to truly see their value and what incredible people they are, and that they have something that they bring to this world so they don't feel helpless. Extracurricular activities is one way to do that. Another is through the church. Connecting with your local church gives them the opportunity to serve, give back, or giving back in the community in some ways. Helps them develop more of an identity, increase their level of self-confidence, and feel validated in the struggles that they're having. Does that make sense? Whether your child is struggling with something very serious as drug addiction, alcohol addiction, or perhaps they've had an argument with their boyfriend or their girlfriend, these are very real. Their relationships are very serious to them. It's not something just to brush off. Oftentimes, they find their self-confidence and who they are in terms of status through these relationships. It's not healthy, but that's how we develop our identity. We all went through it. We get it. So I want you to respect what they're going through. I want you to validate it. So I hope that helps answer your question and how you can help support your teenager. Other questions, I'm going to scroll through. I'm not seeing them in the comment section. not a problem. Sometimes you're here just for inspiration or motivation. Perhaps you're here to hear the other questions so that you can learn and grow. Or perhaps you're feeling alone tonight and just needed to feel the love and the encouragement of this tribe. Whatever brought you here today, I am so happy you're here, and I absolutely adore you, love you, and know that you are a warrior, and you can move through life and change lives and influence people for the better when you make the choice to do that. All right, Sue. Mine's an introvert and just doesn't want to deal with teen drama. Oh my gosh, there is so much drama. I just keep telling her that school is such a short span of her life and to enjoy her few close friends, but it's okay to retreat when she needs to recharge. Absolutely. She has a few family members she's close to as well, but she wants nothing to do with school friends after school. So very good. Thank you so much for sharing, Sue. You're absolutely right. If for some reason your child likes to disengage from school after school, then it's looking into the community and seeing what other ways can they connect. What we want to avoid is the isolation that's unhealthy or dysfunctional. Even as adults, oftentimes introverts like myself, we like to withdraw to recharge, right? Nothing wrong with that. But when it becomes isolating, lonely, and there's a level of depression, we want to make sure that our kids are participating in other activities in the community. When I was going through high school, I absolutely hated it. It was by far the worst time in my life. My divorce was very difficult, yes, but I hated high school. So I wasn't popular. Not that you have to be popular to be happy, but I wasn't accepted by my peers in school. Academically, I graduated with a 2.5. That's really bad. I really struggled through high school in my identity. What I wanted to do was clear to me, but I just didn't relate to my peers. So for me, Sue, I actually didn't get involved with my school either. I just didn't feel comfortable with the students there. Instead, what I did is I danced recreationally. So I took tap, ballet, jazz, gymnastics, point, modern. I danced 6 days a week. And my dance studio was actually located in a different county, in a different school district. And I met lots of people in dance class. So I would go to dance right after school at 4 o'clock, and I would dance until 9 o'clock at night. And then I would come home and do my homework and start over. So Sue, even if she has something in the community where she has an identity, she has a connection, that's what's important. Because oftentimes, unfortunately, our schools are riddled with drama. And if your child prefers to stay out of the drama, that's very mature. And I know Jordan is very mature for her age. And she is an absolutely sweet girl. So finding other ways to plug in is what's important. It may not be at school, it may be in the community if she wants to avoid that drama and she's comfortable with that. Carolyn, I'm having such a hard time with my daughter's depression, anxiety, and discipline. She isn't coming home at night and so much more isn't listening to me, but I'm afraid of making her illness worse at the same time. Do I discipline her the same way as a healthy child? This is a great question, Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you very much. Can you share with me, how old your daughter? How old your daughter, Carolyn? And I can give you some direction with that, because I understand, and this is really common with parents. Oftentimes, you said she's in counseling and on meds and now involved with juvenile justice for truancy. I try everything I possibly can, but when she has a wall up and won't let me in, it makes my job so hard. Yeah, so how old is she? Because, this is a really good question, and I get this question a lot, Carolyn. You're certainly not alone in it. Parents will say to me, 16, thank you. Thank you. I have a stepdaughter that's 15, my son is 16, and my daughter is 17. So I'm right there with you. We're in the trenches together, Carolyn. So I totally get it. Parents will ask me this: will I make my child worse by disciplining them? And what do I need to do to motivate them and help them stay out of trouble, right? So you already have her in counseling and she's already on meds. Carolyn, let me ask, are you happy with the therapist? Do you feel like the therapist is teaching the skills that she needs to regulate her emotions, build her self-confidence, and be able to move forward? The type of counseling you're looking for a teenager is DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. It is the most effective form of therapy. If your child is not receiving DBT, I encourage you to find it. Either ask the therapist if they're trained and how can they implement it, or finding local groups for teens so she can attend a group for DBT. If she refuses a group, I totally get it. That's what some of these kids do. If she refuses, see if her therapist is willing to purchase a book to help teach her the DBT skills. We know based on science, based on evidence, that DBT is the most successful form of therapy, not only for teenagers, but us adults as well. There is wonderful books that even if the therapist is not certified in DBT, they can help her walk through the books. The book I'm talking about, Carolyn, is on my YouTube videos. So head over to my channel and subscribe. You will see I have DBT exercises on my YouTube channel, and there's a little icon, it's a green book. Check that book out. That's what I use with my teens, and it's very effective. So that's something her therapist could use. Very good. So the juvenile justice is getting her into counseling there and putting her in a girls' circle. Okay, so it's going to be, quite honestly, a toss-up if it's going to be an effective therapist in the juvenile justice system. Oftentimes they're inundated with kids, and so it can be overwhelming. Not to say that it's like that everywhere, but you're going to want to check that out. And if they permit you to find your own therapist, then I'm more than happy to help you with that and to be able to help you find someone. And I can help you interview therapists in your area, okay? So Girls Circle will be really important as well, and I'm glad to hear that she's willing to do that. I still haven't answered your question. Are the meds effective? So with depression and anxiety, what you want to see, Carolyn, you want to see her mood be more calm, more relaxed, the ability to think through a situation, not be impulsive, and her lows to be less low and shorter, right? So normally her lows are like this, and they may last. We want her lows to go like this, right? So we want it to be less amount of time and less deep. I hope that makes sense, right? So are the meds working? That's really important because that's going to help with her impulse control, which we know in terms of poor decision making, which is oftentimes how our kids end up in the juvenile justice system, is through poor decision making. The other piece, Carolyn, I'd like you to look at is her core values. We are taught through our core values what is right and what is wrong. I have no doubt you have done your absolute best as a mom to teach her right from wrong. Oftentimes kids who do not adhere to their core values is because they do not feel like they belong anywhere. They don't feel like they're accepted. They feel rejected, hurt, or abandoned in some way. So evaluating that in her life will be essential. Now, to answer your question, yes, I want you to still discipline. Do not stop disciplining because your child may have a mental health condition, whether it's depression, anxiety, ADD, conduct disorder, whatever it may be. Your child will not get worse by discipline that is healthy. That's the key. Discipline that's healthy. So how you discipline is essential to evaluate, and I'm more than happy, Carolyn, if you want to shoot me a message and direct message, I'm more than happy to talk to you about discipline techniques and see how you're doing with it. But when we're talking about teenagers, most often we think loss of privileges, right? We want to take away the gaming systems, the phone, or something like that. The problem is that actually makes it worse, particularly with children who are in the juvenile justice system. They tend to do better with a reward system. So if she attends school X amount of times or gets to school on time X amount of times, she will receive a privilege. And that can look like many things that motivate her. And sometimes it's hard to find those motivations, right? That's a struggle too. So the other problem is when she isn't coming home at night, she isn't taking her meds regularly. Yes, she lost 15 pounds this month. I told her if she doesn't come home at night, I can't give them to her. Yeah, you're absolutely right. She needs to be home at night. So how do you handle that? Does your community have a curfew? You know, we hate to get the police involved. She's already part of the juvenile justice system. But when she doesn't come home, where is she going? Is she going to friend's house, family members? Is she out with a boyfriend? You know, where is she in the community? Does the community have a curfew? It is required by law that they are home, right, at a certain time. At least in our community, we have a curfew. So looking at that, she's in the juvenile justice system. Does she have a probation officer? Sometimes a probation officer can use that for leverage to get her home, right? What is the reason she's not at home? Evaluating that and seeing how to support her and really be able to reach her at a deeper level. So what I saw up here, Felicia, is why is it effective? So when you look at DBT, Felicia, I would love for you to look it up. Marsha Linehan is who started DBT. She created the model of DBT, and it was actually originally created for people with borderline disorder who are in prison. So men who are in prison with borderline personality disorder was the origin of dialectical behavior therapy. What she has learned is through tracking behaviors, evaluating our triggers, which, we're trying to come up with another word. I say that every week. Activate's been my most recent one that Paula suggested. Looking at those triggers and then teaching emotional regulation. So Felicia, the biggest issue with people is the inability to regulate emotion. So dysregulation of emotion. If we can teach people how to regulate emotion, then it helps in decision-making, impulse control, building our self-confidence. It's just this domino effect that's healthy. And she went into jails and did research on this type of therapy and found it very successful in the rehabilitation of men in jail with severe disorders. It has now, years later, been proven to be helpful, resourceful, curing, whatever you want to say, in the basics: anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder. There's a lot out there. There's even apps that you can put on your phone to help with DBT. So that's what makes it effective. There's a lot of scientific research, and I hope that gives you a little bit. I don't know all the details in terms of the research, but I can tell you it was Marsha Linehan and where it was and the basics and what allows it to work. It's a combination of emotional regulation and cognitive behavior therapy. So cognitive behavior therapy tells us, I have a thought, let's reframe that thought. Like, I'm lazy. I'm going to reframe that like, I struggle to get things done, right? When I say I'm lazy, it eats away at our self-confidence. When I say I struggle to get things done, now it's obtainable and I can work through it. DBT, what it asks you to do is to allow it to slip off of your back like water on a duck, is what she usually uses. So I am lazy, we don't do anything with it. We just release it and let it go. We don't reframe it. We just release it and let it go. So there's been research that when we learn how to release and let go, we rebuild that cognitive structure that's more positive. We create a new brain path. So I hope that helps, Felicia, in answering some of those questions around the evidence and around the science behind DBT. I'm glad it's helpful, Carolyn. I really am grateful. And I'm sorry to hear that she's lost weight. And perhaps if she doesn't come home at night, she takes her pills in the morning. That has been more effective for my children, because oftentimes they're away at friends' houses or they're out, and so I moved their pills to the morning, and that was okay with the psychiatrist. I checked with them, and it actually has been working much better. My son reports an increase in energy by moving his medication to the morning rather than at night while he's sleeping. So maybe moving them might help. I'm not sure. And I don't know what your resources is. If she is going into school but late or not going in at all, that's a problem. But if she's going in late, can there be extras at school perhaps? It's so hard at 16. They're really searching for their identity, and they will do whatever they can to piss you off sometimes, right? And so that can be challenging. But yes, please message me. We can absolutely process through this. This was my area of specialty when I first started private practice. I only worked with teens. And I worked on research studies with teens in the juvenile justice system. So I've got a heart for tough kids. Please don't hesitate. And yes, you need to discipline. We always discipline our children. That was per the doctor's orders because of the side effects of tiredness. So, even going back to the doctor and saying, hey, is there a different medication that doesn't cause tiredness that she could take in the morning that may be a better fit because she's missing it at night? That may be that may be another option to work with. And you and I can process through this. Okay. Hey, Susan, it's great to see you. Yeah, she takes them in the morning and you watch her take them. Absolutely. Yeah, I know, Susan, you just had hopped on. If you scroll through and see Carolyn's messages, her daughter's actually in the juvenile justice system and she's struggling to get her home at night. So there are some other mitigating factors that are making this challenging, some defiance that can really make it difficult. So, hey, Trisha, it is great to see you tonight. All right, so let me scroll up. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Hey, John, great to see you as well. I want to make sure I answered everybody. So Felicia, you're saying you accelerated out of high school in 2.5 years. Yeah, that's a really good point. Many of these schools now, Carolyn, I don't know where you're located. I can't remember, to be honest. I apologize. Many of the schools are offering accelerating. Our school is implementing it as of next year. So Carolyn, I don't remember what district you're in. Many of them are allowing these kids to go a half a day their senior year and work the other half or attend college courses a half a day. I have a feeling that's probably what my son will do. My daughter, we pulled her and she does cyber school. I really believe our education is unique to our children, and I believe that the public school system or a private school system isn't always conducive to our children's needs. It wasn't good for my daughter. She has different medical issues, and she missed a lot of school and just got really behind. So it really increased the stress, the anxiety, and her depression. So as a result, I pulled her out of the public system, and she goes to cyber school here at home, and I can monitor her assignments and what she does, as well as she gets to sleep in because she has irritable bowel syndrome, and it's most inflamed in the mornings. So Maddie, if she sleeps until 10, she actually feels really good most of the day. The best recovery for your gut is sleep. So that really became an issue for school. But Madeline's been very successful with cyber. And as we did our research with cyber and looked at the colleges and how they accept cyber, they at it sometimes as more challenging than the public school system because the children have to be very disciplined in order to complete cyber. So they see that as an added benefit. There's actually, no real loss or concern with a child who's cyber schooled going to college. Because that was important to us because Maddie will be pursuing occupational therapy when she goes to college next year. So that may be an issue too, Carolyn. I don't know. I don't know if that's a possibility that perhaps, a different school environment may be useful. Okay, so I hope that helps. Thank you, Felicia, for pointing that out. That's really useful. Okay. Hey, Lynn, it's great to see you. Canfield, Ohio. I love Canfield. I lived in Canfield for a few years, and it was one of my favorite places to live. So I'll have to come visit you. You're not far. I love Canfield. Susan says, I went to a state college junior and senior year on the state's dime. A great thing. Absolutely. It can be really, really useful. Alternative education is an amazing opportunity for many of our kids. It's important that we are open-minded about education and what works best for our child, because one size doesn't fit all, especially when it comes to our education. Some kids don't do well in public school, and it's not anything to be ashamed of. Instead, we find out what works best for them to succeed, right? And what works best to lay that foundation long term. Hey, Liberty, it's great to see you. Let's see, Sue. Jordan is scheduling to get out half days her senior year. Yeah, absolutely, Sue. I think it's great that our district is doing it. I think we're going to see a lot of success for these kids who are doing that program. So I'm really happy with our school district. Yes, Carolyn. Yes, they have that, but she is so behind. They're trying to figure out what to do. I want her to do cyber school, but she says she is not disciplined enough. And that's possible. She may feel like she's not disciplined enough for cyber. Now, there are two types of cyber programs in our schools. One school district offers where you go to school at your time of school, anytime between 7 and 3, but kids can come in a little later and they can sit in a classroom and complete the cyber work. So it's much more relaxed and they get things done and they're supervised, and then of course we have cyber in our homes. So there are different kinds of cyber programs, Carolyn. Perhaps some of the districts around you offer that may be a help or support, or looking at an educational provider to come into the home while she's taking her cyber classes. Madeline only needs about 3 to 5 hours of schooling each day to get through her junior year. And Carolyn, she was really far behind as well. That's exactly where we were, Carolyn. We came to a place where we didn't know how to catch her up. And it was just, she was drowning in work. And the teachers were trying to do what they could, but she just could not catch up with the amount of school she missed. In cyber, they did not force her to catch up all that work. They gave her a set amount to do in order to pass. And then as she's completed it, they can accelerate her. So your daughter would even have an opportunity, as you know, to graduate early. So there are lots of options. And I am more than happy to explain anything to your daughter. And I know my daughter would be more than happy to talk to her about cyber and how cyber works. So if there's any interest in that, Carolyn, I will volunteer my daughter as well. She loves to support and reach out and help people. So we have a bunch more people jumping on, even though it's about 9:45, right? We have been on for a little over an hour. This is Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ask the Therapist Live, where you get to ask your questions. And as always, I request that you share this out. Share this out so your friends and family know that they have a support and they are never alone. We have had some amazing questions tonight. I am appreciative of each of you and for who you are, what you do, and how you connect with one another. Hey, Jessica, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Jessica and Jason. It's great to see you, Jason, Laura, and Jody, and my beautiful sister, Angela. She is a school teacher locally. She works with first graders all day long. I have to give her credit. I would never have the patience for students, let alone first graders. So hats off to you, Ange. So yes, you're welcome, Carolyn. I hope that helps. Yeah, you let me know how we can connect with her, Carolyn, whatever that looks like, whether it's me and my daughter or just my daughter, whatever you want, we will help her succeed. We will help her get through this and support you. So, all right, any other questions? Yes, Felicia, thank you. I'm just scrolling through. They now have credit retrieval programs. Absolutely. And those are in cyber. A lot of times cyber schools will offer them, but it's a way that you can make up your classes, your what you've missed, Carolyn, and not miss additional school and be able to pass. So thank you, Felicia. That's very helpful. All right. So let me double check all my social media to make sure there aren't any questions. Okay. All right, so here's our last question of the night, unless of course somebody has a question that types in the box. The last question of the night: I take my meds regularly and I'm continuing counseling, but I'm still struggling. I'm not sure if I'm strong enough to continue this battle. Well, my dear friend, you are absolutely strong enough to continue this battle. I know you well. And I know that you have battled so much through the years. You are resilient, you are a warrior, and I have no doubt. So you're going to counseling, you're taking your meds, what else can you do? Again, let me challenge you. How are you involved in your community? How often do you plug into your church, your friends? How often do you give back? I know, you work, you're tired, you're overwhelmed. We all are, my friend, but making yourself a priority is important, right? Now that you have graduated from college, you have the opportunity at a new career too. That will help with your emotions. The last thing I'll suggest for you tonight is I want you to find a therapeutic group to be a part of. There are many groups in your area. If you can't find them, let me know and I will help you. Your therapist can give you a group, whether it's an adult DBT group or just a general group of women to be a part of, to connect with therapeutically. That will also make a difference so that you know your tribe is right there in your backyard. You're most welcome, Felicia. Thank you so much for joining tonight. All right, one more glance at social media and make sure nobody else has any other questions. All right, nothing on Facebook. Nothing on Instagram. And nothing on LinkedIn. All right, it looks like we've got everybody taken care of tonight. Isn't that awesome? Well, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for your time, your patience, just the joy of who you are. Each and every week on Tuesday nights, I absolutely just light up at seeing your names, you being a part of Ask the Therapist Live. I go to bed feeling amazing after connecting with each of you. So to each of you, thank you for being my blessing. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share space with me and your tribe. Each and every person that's in the comment section that you see is someone you can count on. Whether they are a stranger or a friend to you already, I know most people personally, and they are incredible people with big hearts, with big souls that love fiercely, that if you reach out to them, they will support you. I can guarantee that. I will always support you. If you're having a bad day, you're feeling lonely, you need picked up, or just some words of encouragement, send me a message, a direct message in any social media platform. And I am there just to give you a virtual hug, give you words of encouragement, remind you that you have been created beautifully, beautifully in God's image. And you, my friend, are never alone. So check out my YouTube channel, lots of inspiration there. I have a few subscribers. Go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss anything. You will see wonderful tricks and ways to care for yourself, as well as the podcast Unsung Heroes Live. And remember, if you want to be interviewed, head over to christyknights.com and click for an interview and schedule an interview. I am thankful for you. Until next week, I want you to be so real, be so raw, be authentic, transparent, give back, love back like you never have before, and take care of yourself. Thank you again for your time, and have an amazing evening and week. I'll see you next Tuesday.